starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, good morning. Today is November 1st, 2023. This is the formal board meeting of the Board of Supervisors. Thank you all for joining us today, both here and remote. I will ask for the roll call. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, good morning. Supervisor Gates.
Here.
Supervisor Galvin.
Here.
Supervisor Sellers.
Here.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Here.
Chairman Hickman.
Here. Thank you. We will next move on to item number 2 and 3, which is the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Supervisor Galvin is sponsoring today. So, Supervisor Galvin, can you introduce your guest?
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm honored that we are graced by the presence of Rabbi Andy Green of Congregation Or Sion. And Mr. Chairman, if it's okay, I'd like to make some remarks about a wonderful rabbi from District 2 afterwards.
Okay, great. Thank you. If we could all please rise.
Rabbono Shel Olam, Master of the world, with mercy accept this prayer on behalf of our county and its government. Protect the valorous and giving men and women who put their lives in danger every day so that we and our children can live in safety and without fear. Comfort us today as we mourn with the nation of Israel and with the Jewish families of our county, shaken and vulnerable, devastated by tragic and previously unfathomable loss of life, degradation, and abuse, dumbfounded by indifference, equivocation, and even celebration of unjustifiable evil. Comfort us, too, as we lament with the innocents of Gaza, betrayed by their Hamas government, denied basic rights and freedoms, food and fuel, denied safe passage from a war zone, to be sacrificed as human shields pawns, then declared martyrs for a wicked cause not of their own choosing. Please, God, redeem all those who are held captive against their will. May they return speedily and soon to the loving embrace of their families in joy. Bring wholeness and healing to all who are broken by the traumas of your world, O God, in Israel, in Gaza, in Maine, in Ukraine, and here in Maricopa County. Dear God, pour out your blessing upon our county, upon its inhabitants, upon its supervisors, its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, upon all who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them with continued discernment and courage to understand the rules of justice and compassion that you have decreed. May peace and security, happiness and prosperity, democracy and freedom forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, we pray that your spirit be awakened within all who dwell in our county. Uproot from our hearts bigotry and malice, hatred and jealousy. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the diverse peoples and faiths of our county. Dear God, bless these supervisors with the knowledge to render sound judgment, the wisdom to lead with compassion, and the understanding and fearlessness to address our most pressing challenges. May their efforts contribute to healing the brokenness of our world. L'taken olam b'malchut Shaddai. So may it be your will. And we say, Amen. Amen. Please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Supervisor Galvin.
Thank you. First of all, Rabbi, I want to thank you for that very moving prayer, and thank you for coming down here to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I just want to introduce Rabbi Green to everyone here and who's watching. Rabbi Andy Green began his tenure with Congregation Or Sion in July 2021. He's only been in Arizona for just a few years, but he's been making a tremendous impact. Congregation Or Sion is an egalitarian, multi-generational, participatory, family-friendly community located in North Scottsdale. Rabbi Green is a Southern California native. We're not going to hold that against you. Earned his undergraduate degree from UCLA with a major in math and economics with a minor in political science. He received his rabbinical ordination from the Ziegler School of Rabbinic Studies, American Jewish University in Los Angeles. And community involvement is seen by Rabbi Green as a key component to his role as rabbi. And Mr. Chairman, I just want to tell you that Rabbi Green and I had a very nice meeting this morning with my staff, and we talked about all the issues that were touched upon in your prayer and how world issues are impacting us here in Maricopa County, and there's a lot of people that are hurting right now. And I just expressed to him, and I want to do it again here publicly, that we support our Jewish friends and the Jewish community, the state of Israel, and all the victims of the attacks in Hamas. But you also eloquently talked about the victims in Gaza. There are innocent lives, innocent children being brutally hurt by the powers that be, and it's unacceptable, and God is watching. But in this vein, I just want you to know, Rabbi, that we have your community support, and if you need anything, please let us know. And thank you for being a faith leader in our community. It takes all different roles and all different aspects for people to work together. It's not just elected officials, it's everyone. So thank you for being here, and thank you, and your community and your congregation is in my prayers. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi, for joining us today. Okay, and if you want to take a dog with you on your way out the door, we're about to... Congratulations. All right, thank you. We will now go to item number 4, the Pet Showcase by Maricopa County Animal Care and Control, and Kim is with us today. So I will let you do the introductions, Kim. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for having us. This is Bug. He is about 3 years old. He has been at the shelter for a week as of today. He was actually found running around in elementary school as a stray, which doesn't surprise me at all because he's very energetic and loving. He was just kind of running around circles, and then when I took him out of his kennel the other day, he was running around circles around me. So he's a really fun dog. It's hard not to smile when you're around him. And he also rode really well in the truck on the way here, and he walks great on a leash. So, and he does seem potty trained as well. So he'd be a great fit in really any home. He is already neutered, so that means he can go home today, and his adoption fee is waived because it's the first day of our Bissell Empty the Shelters adoption event, which runs through Sunday.
Okay, great. We'll see you later, Bug. Good luck. Yeah.
Thank you.
Kim, thanks for bringing him today. And thanks for all the hard work that you guys do down there at the
And
shelter.
go Diamondbacks. So go Diamondbacks.
I heard you say it again. They could use the help.
Embrace the chaos.
All right. Go. Awesome. All right. We will go on. I'm going to ask, it is 9:47, and I'd like those brought up because we're going to seal the comments. So you're going to go ahead and seal the comments. Okay, very good. Madam Clerk, so about how many comments do we have then at this point before we get into the agenda?
Sorry, Chairman. In my hand, I have approximately 10 speaker forms. However, 2 have listed several items on one of the forms. I believe Blue Crawley's still filling out his.
Can you go ahead and make a count real quick? So I know I've got a meeting to run, so. I also want to thank Supervisor Sellers and Supervisor Gallardo. I appreciate it. You guys called in to let me know that you're not feeling very well, and I appreciate you spacing yourself from us, but still participating in the meeting. So thank you guys for joining us remotely. I'll tell you what, while we're waiting for that number, let's go ahead and go on. Juanita, did you, just real quickly, on this first, on consent, do you know if there's any comments from items 5 through 10 and all the way to 16?
Chairman, Supervisors, I do have 2 speaker forms for items 5 through 10. Jeff Caldwell would like to speak in opposition, and Leslie would also like to speak on items 5 through 10.
Okay, being that it's on consent, okay, so nothing on items 11 through 16?
Nothing on those items, Chairman.
Okay, then I'll look for a motion on items 11 through 16. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve items 11 through 16.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
Yes, I would make a second and maybe offer a friendly amendment as well to the motion.
Okay.
That the for item 16, it's corrected per the handout memo for a 50-year special use permit.
Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you for calling that out. I have that in hand. Would you like to amend the motion?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion and a second through, with that amendment, through items 11 through 16. All in favor, say aye.
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 Good. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will go back to items 5 through 10. Okay, Mr. Jeff Caldwell, agenda items 5 through 10, Sun Pond 1, 2, and 3.
Chair, Supervisors, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. We've brought this before you before, and so the ponds are a solar panel thing. And so what we need to do is create chain of custody to ensure that child slave labor is not used in the materials that they utilize. NPR on February 1st of 2023 has an article that says how modern-day slavery in Congo powers the rechargeable battery economy. So while there are stipulations in contracts that prevent child slavery and forced labor in China, there's also other areas around the world that has it as well. And it is found in cobalt, which is used in the storage of battery, or the battery storage that is in the solar panel corporations. So I urge you all to please work on creating a chain of custody form that documents where all of the materials are coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. Leslie.
Yeah, I'm just going to, without having to repeat everything, I agree and ask the same question, making sure that this is done without slavery, labor for children. I know that it's a pretty penny that people are gaining from this, but it's sad when it's on the backs of children. Forced labor, child labor for solar panels, storage devices occurs in Congo and other places around the world. Please work to create proper chain of custody documentation of where the materials are sourced. Please ensure none of the products used in these products are made from forced labor. And then there's obviously different sources that you can refer to, but I do ask that because just like the borders open and we have problems with what's going on with our children right here locally, we've got to be careful of people, children all over the world, because Yahweh will hold every single one of you guys responsible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. No more comments on items 5 through 10?
No more comments, Chairman.
Okay, great. Do I have a motion on items 5 through 10?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve items 5 through 10.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Do you have a count at this point? Are you?
Chairman, I have 13 speaker forms for requests to speak on several different agenda items.
On several different agenda items. What's that mean? Some have 3, 4, and what is that?
No, they all have one agenda item, but
Okay.
they're all on different agenda
Oh, okay.
items.
So
yes.
so currently then we have 13 speaker slips on different items that you'll.
Yes.
Okay.
I will call on.
Very good. Okay, great. Then we will now move on to statutory hearings. Under air quality number 17, AQ-2023-001, Rule 360, Rule 370, Rule 371, and Appendix G. 18 is rescission and replace paragraphs G and J of Rule 32. Under Clerk of the Board, number 19, new liquor license for Honey and Soul. Number 20, de-annexation from City of Phoenix to Maricopa County. Under Transportation, 21, road file declarations. A is number 5931R. B is number 6005. Madam Clerk, are there any registered speakers or comments received on items 17 and 21?
Chairman, Supervisors, I have one speaker form from Blue Crawley, and he would like to speak on item number 20.
Okay. Blue? Thank you, Blue, and you have 2 minutes.
I did turn it around as a yarmulke in respect during the prayer.
Yep.
This de-annexation, I brought up the point earlier about the west side and that, and I have 3 of the agenda items, Jack, that are on the MAG agenda. One is designate recipient assignment for Phoenix for West Glendale, Avondale urban area. That also is County Island in there too. So when it's a part of that, why isn't the county also mentioned as a part of it? And I have the transportation safety plan, and my favorite one is the TIP. And item D is the transit projects. And what does our PTA do if it's MAG that's doing the transit projects? But with that particular de-annexation, I asked the last time, okay, so it's now going to be your responsibility if we start doing things as in per volume, distance, and the right way to do that transit plan. Are you going to be the ones that are doing the infrastructure there now? Or is it Phoenix that's going to do it? Because so far, nobody does it, and that's unacceptable. I was out at Avondale yesterday, got a tour by the councilwoman of their, it's not a dial-a-ride, but it's an excellent project. It's trying to work to get their citizens use of some transit within the city. And I'm going with the jurisdictional equity that MAG is supposedly inferring. Why aren't we doing that at our
Thank you.
PTA?
Thank you, Blue. Appreciate it.
And give you back 30 seconds.
Okay. We've got the speakers, right? The board will now consider items 17 through 21. Thank you, Supervisor Galvin. And was that Supervisor Gallardo as a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next, County Officers, Board of Supervisors, 22, appointment to the Board of Health, 23, appointment to the Greater Phoenix Ryan White HIV Services Planning Council. Under Clerk of the Board, 24 through 30, special event license for Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center, St. Rose Philippine Duchesne Roman Catholic Parish in Anthem, Kiwanis Club of New River, Heartstring Foundation, Hardin Education and Recreation Therapy Foundation, Horses Help Foundation, Any speaker slips for those?
No speakers.
Thank you. The board will now consider items 22 through 30.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Steve.
Yes, I would be honored to make the motion to approve items 22 through 30.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ooh. I'll
Go
give
to
it
the tape, Mr. Chair.
I'll give it to you, Bill, because I don't want to go to the tape.
Just don't miss the MLB umpire from game.
A little outside. All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Clerk of the Board, continued. 31, temporary extension for premises patio for Arlington Grill. County Attorney, 32 through 33, accept funding from U.S. Department of Justice. 34 is appointments. And 35 through 39 are grants from the Arizona Department of Public Safety. The board will now consider items 31 through 39.
Move approval.
Second.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you, Tom. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Sheriff, number 40, IGA with the Town of Fountain Hills. 41, amend subgrantee agreement from Arizona Department of Homeland Security. Number 42, donations. 43 through 45, one-time additions to fleet. Under Assistant County Manager, 46, American Rescue Plan Act expenditure approvals and budget adjustments.
Chairman, I have two speaker forms. One is from Jeff Caldwell and one from Leslie Shepard. Both would like to speak on item 46. Mr. Caldwell has marked in opposition for this item.
Mr. Caldwell.
So COVID has been deemed over by the World Health Organization as of May, and there's want to increase COVID money, or at least keep it in the tens of millions of dollars towards government entities. Another issue that I have is the amount of money that is going to be spent for advertising. It's at $4.8 million. And I have concerns because ABC on their Twitter or X account posted on October 28th, older adults who received last year's COVID boosters and a high-dose version of the flu vaccine in the same visit may have potential increased risk of stroke, according to an FDA-funded study. So I highly encourage you to reconsider the COVID funding in the budget and to take it down to zero. That is the reason why I'm opposed. I understand that there are reductions of spending, but it should be across the board. It should be treated equally. And it is also, I want to reiterate, interesting that public health COVID testing is being reduced down to zero while it's being increased in other areas. So it is a very interesting budget adjustment. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, Leslie.
Okay. The World Health Organization chief declared at the end of COVID-19 as the global health emergency on May 5th, 2023. People are not dying from COVID like they were before, actually from the COVID shots, 2 years as they were 2 years ago. People were aware of the vaccines and getting vaccinated. ABC News just announced older adults who received this last year's COVID booster and high-dose version of the flu vaccine and the same visit may be potentially at risk of stroke, according to the FDA. You know, does science really speak? I don't know. We'll see. There are a couple spots where we are looking to appropriately reduce the money for COVID and accurately reflects the current landscape. But the overall amount of money you are increasing for the COVID concerns is astronomical and should not happen. The amount of money you are increasing for woke policies like re-silencing should not happen. What types of advertising is the money going to, is to be used for because advertising is the money going to be used for because that is a large increase in ads. It just sounds like a lot of double standards again. You know, there's a gentleman right here in the very back. As you walk up, his mug is sitting right there. And then I saw the gentleman right back here, Mr. Attorney Man, with his coffee as he's up there talking with you guys. And I just now asked them, why are they allowed to come in? He said, well, they're county workers. So you allow county workers, Mr. Hickman, to bring in whatever they want. But you make the general public. I have a friend who's afraid to come. She was actually having a problem in her car because her blood is very thick, and she has to drink water a lot. But your double standard is a lot like your little piece of paper here, and I bet you guys are going to pass it with no problem. And I'm never surprised that Steve's not here. He's often not here. Thank you.
So I'll ask you to stay relevant to the topic. So.
And I'll ask you to not have a double
Oh my God. Okay. So the board will now consider items 40 through 46.
Mr. Chair, move approval of items 40 through 46 with the brief comment. on
Okay.
46.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to second. I'd also like to make a brief comment, please.
Okay, Bill.
Mr. Chair, just wanted to take this opportunity on 46, which deals with, again, ARPA funds, which came from the federal government, and they've been entrusted with this board and our team to spend them in a wise manner. And I just want to give great kudos to the county manager, assistant county manager. We have Marcy Flanagan from Public Health here, and the way that they continually adjust the funds based upon efficiency of how things are being utilized in the best way possible for the residents of Maricopa County. So very grateful for this. This is taxpayer money, and we are treating it as such. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Bill.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'd like to highlight item number 40 from District 2. This is an IGA with the Town of Fountain Hills with the Sheriff's Office, and I appreciate the efforts of our Sheriff's Office and the Town of Fountain Hills. We're working together to get this IGA done so that Fountain Hills residents are safe and have the continuity of law enforcement services. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you guys for pointing that out. I appreciate it.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Supervisor Gallardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate it. I just want to echo the comments made by Supervisor Gates on the whole ARPA dollars. These are dollars that are going down to help the most vulnerable folks in our population, additional dollars to try to get folks off the street into permanent housing, to address homelessness, to address legal aid, people that just need a little help with some legal issues, people with disabilities. That's where the money's going to. And I just appreciate all the good work that the staff is doing to make sure the money is spent where it needs to be spent. We're making sure we stay within the guidelines that is set forth by the federal government as well. So being good stewards of this federal dollars, taxpayer dollars going in to help the taxpayers of Maricopa County. So just wanted a great shout out to our great staff that has been working so hard around the ARPA dollars and making sure we follow all federal guidelines.
All right, thank you, Supervisor Gallardo, as well. Okay, did we ask for a vote yet? Okay, but I do have a motion and a second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under county offices, under air quality, 47, the travel reduction program annual report. Under correctional health, number 48, agreement with Franklin Pierce University. 49, amend agreement with Southwest Behavioral Health Services. Under elections, number 50, precinct committeeman, 51, adopt resolution for call of an election, Maricopa County transportation excise tax. And under environmental services, 52, amend farm lease with Arizona Board of Regents.
Chairman,
Madam Clerk.
I have several speaker forms here for items 47, 50, and 51, and I can bring these to you if you would like.
Okay, let's go through the speaker slips then. Okay, so item 47 first. Okay. Item 47 first, I'll call these names up, so if you could cue behind. First up, Blue Crawley. Second up, Jeff Caldwell. And last up, Leslie. Leslie, what's your last name? It's Shepherd, right? Yeah. Okay. So Ms. Shepherd goes third. Blue Crawley.
The object of the trip reduction program in that is to expand the amount of accessibility to all the forms of mass transit that we have. And when I see the new Prop 400, I don't see anything in there that is going to be doing it. So it's nice that this report says we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but in actuality, there isn't an aggressiveness to put in the routes that were supposed to be there. And when it goes to jurisdictional equity, they say that you guys are all in the West Valley, which would then be the route 685 that goes to Ajo from Desert Sky and hits a couple of the communities. When we wrote that, we wrote it so that they would expand the rural routes. And what they've done is eliminated Wickenburg. We put it in there that Tonopah should have had a bus forever. That Queen Creek was in the plan and taken out. So when I see what's happened over the 20 years of what they did with what we gave them, and I go trip reduction, there is no aggression to make that happen. And with the new plan, Bill, could you tell me what bus routes and that they're going to be implementing and doing? Because there's zero right now. And I'm also got one in for 50, so I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, Mr. Caldwell.
Chair, Supervisors, so sticking to the point of the topic, this is regarding the travel reduction program, which you guys have to do. It is legally binding because of state statute. This has nothing to do with MAG or bus rapid transit. This forces businesses that have 50 or more employees to offer services or provide information to their employees regarding alternative travel to their businesses. And then they also get reimbursed periodically from Maricopa County Association or Board of Supervisors. So again, sticking to the point, you guys can't really do anything about this. However, what you can do is have your lobbyist lobby the state government and tell them to change the state statute to create a different program that is less intrusive. This is micromanaging businesses. So another thing is that we need to somehow get the Supreme Court to reverse their 1989 ruling, which forced the state to create these state statutes. So that's what we're dealing with on item 47. Please have the lobbyist lobby the government in order to reduce regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shepherd.
Is this the part in which we're allowed to ask you a question? Agenda items aren't the point, and you don't answer questions during public speaking, so when do we ask you a question that you're supposed to answer?
If any of us choose to ask more questions to our agency based on a question you might have, we can so desire that. But go ahead and please go
Well, the
ahead.
reason I said that because I heard Mr. Jeff appealing to you, saying, please, please. And my question to you is, are you going to take into consideration what he said and do something that the lobbyists could do to make it to where that it really appears as if you guys are really doing something that is to help the people? I don't think you guys really understand. The military really are watching you guys right now. And I would hate to think that you guys just think it's so small. And you just think I'm just this crazy woman that gets here that you're irritated with every time we come here. It's bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. So these little basic things that he was pleading with you, it's all going to be taken on record. I know that you and Bill have your little chats before these meetings. Anyhow, my mom just went out coughing because she doesn't have a bottle of water, and yet you have one, and you have your little coffee, and you let your county workers have drinks in here. So my mom had to leave out of here because maybe you could not discriminate against us.
Stay relevant.
When my mom's walking out coughing, I have a problem with you.
Okay, thanks for staying under 2 minutes. All right, we'll go on to item number 50 that's still on this, and then item 51. So next, let's go ahead. Ms. Shepherd? please join us at the podium again. You want to speak on item number 50. And then Mr. Michaels, and then Mr. Crawley.
At the last BOS meeting, you said that you passed the PCs. You said that out of your mouth. But yet, Mr. Scott Jarrett, I believe it is, said that is not what happened. So we have you on recording saying it happened. We have some other guy that's behind the scenes saying it didn't happen. So I want to know, did it happen, yes or no? Did you pass the PCs at the last meeting, yes or no? I guess you're going to stall out the time there, huh, Mr. Hickman? You said on recording that you did. You said that the last several times we've had this discussion that people are concerned that the PCs are being held at and they're not being approved. You said we're not doing that, and we just passed them. But Mr. Scott Jarrett completely went against what you said out loud. So which is the truth, Scott Jarrett or you? I can sit here and look at you too. I enjoy it. Probably because you don't like it is why I enjoy it. So you're not going to answer that question.
Are you finished with your statements or anything about?
I'm thinking that my statement is that I'm trying to figure out, Mrs. Lady Lawyer over there likes to let us know we can't repeat things. She lets us know everything's at your discretion. So it's at your discretion if you choose to answer that question or not.
Okay.
And so you're choosing not to answer the question. Did you pass the PCs last BOS meeting or not?
The appointment of precinct committeemen.
That's what we're talking about today,
Yeah.
right? Okay. That's the agenda item for today.
That's the agenda item today. Okay.
Yeah, but at the last BOS, you literally gaslighted us and said that you did do it, but yet Mr. Scott Jarrett said that you did not. So which is the truth, Scott Jarrett or you? Somebody's a liar. Thank you.
Time's up. Mr. Michaels.
Hello, I'm Ray Michaels. I'm the Legislative District Chair for 8 for Maricopa County. I'm very disappointed because last week or last meeting that I came up here, you had assured me, you looked me right in the eye and you said the PCs have been appointed to those positions and you plan on doing much, much more. I asked Mr. Galvin, and I gave him a personal invitation to come to our LD meeting, but we did not see you and your wife there again. We'd love to see you there. I presented to the board here 2 weeks ago a cease and desist to stop usurping authority that they don't have, or if you do have authority, to please present it to us within 5 days that you have a statutory ability to oversee a private political organization. I've talked to Juanita here on the phone, as well as Debbie again this morning, and I've been getting the runaround because nobody can follow up. Nobody even knows that that cease and desist was turned in. I have another 50 that I'd like to present today. Cease and desist unless you can provide us with a statutory authority that you have to create additional criteria for the county, the Maricopa County political organizations to present to you, because there is nothing within statute. I read what was in the agenda this morning, and you're just adding things that don't exist. And I did my checks. Can I please find out when the cease and desist is going to be heard by somebody or followed up by somebody? Can at least I get that from an attorney or from somebody from Maricopa County? Is there any way that we can receive any of that?
Time's up.
All right.
Get through these speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Blue Crawley.
At your last meeting, that man assaulted one of our members in that all kinds of ways of saying that you don't lack the integrity to be a Republican and that you're a rhino and your unparticipation in their existence. And I'm glad that you're not a Make America Great Trump supporter, a maggot.
Blue.
And that's what you don't, I'm staying on the
Item
topic
50.
that he is a precinct committeeman, and he's of a higher rate than what you guys do here. And what is that? He was elected to that position. So all of your gyrations of saying he needs to be walking down the road.
You guys, Blue.
Right.
Item 50.
Right.
Item 50.
So, as I said, I'm glad that now you guys are addressing it, but make sure that it isn't the maggots that you're appointing to your party, because I want the Republicans that I know, such as yourselves, Rusty Bauer, et cetera.
Thank you, Blue. I appreciate it. Okay, Mr. Supervisor Gates.
Yes, Mr. Chair. There were some questions about the process with the vacancies that we've been addressing, and then also appointing precinct committeemen that have been appointed by the Maricopa County Republican Committee Chair. I was wondering if we could have Zach Shira come up.
Zach, would you like to come up and answer a few questions from Supervisor Gates, or any other questions from my colleagues on Zoom, or Mr. Galvin?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Supervisors. Yeah, the last board meeting, we did have the PC item on the agenda, and it was passed. But inside of that item, as we've discussed the last couple meetings, we approved vacancies and appointments. Under the new policy, we did not have the forms back in time from the parties to appoint new PCs during the last formal. What we did do is we approved new vacancies. On this item, we have 46 total Democrat appointments, 15 vacancy creations. We have 100 Republican appointments and 20 vacancy creations, and none for the Libertarian Party. So the last item we did pass that item, there are only vacancies created. This time we have 146 total PCs between the parties appointed.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Shira. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Then that answered that question. All right. We'll now go on to item 51, because all of this is still on the same list. Item 51 now is Mr. Caldwell. Item number 51, which is the adopt the resolution for call of an election, Maricopa County Transportation Excise Tax.
Chairman, Supervisors, state law says that we cannot address the public when we are specific people of the public when we are giving comment. So on item 51, this is to generate the new proposition to extend what was known as Prop 400. So it's going to be known as Prop 479. It is the Regional Strategic Transportation Infrastructure Investment Plan. The proposition breaks down the spending in the following three ways: 40.5% to freeways and other routes in the state highway system, 37% to public transportation, and 22.5% to arterial streets, intersections, or intersection improvement and regional transportation infrastructure. So when this was originally passed first by the state legislature, and it was vetoed by Katie Hobbs. We had a bifurcation where the public would be able to vote yes or no on funding public transit and then highways and infrastructure. Now, with the one that Hobbs signed into law, it's combined. So I please urge you and ask you to vote no on the way that this is and go back to what was passed and vetoed by Katie Hobbs, because that is the only way that we are going to have an accurate representation of what the public really wants in Maricopa County. We need to have the ability to vote on those issues separately, and it is very important that we do represent the will of the people. The legislature, with the last one, went against what we asked for as the public. They went against the grassroots. Katie Hobbs vetoed the bill. That was what the grassroots wanted. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Ms. Shepherd.
It's just a formality of coming up here because I just think about how Jeff was so kind when he appeals to you and pleads to you. And I know that we're looking at people who absolutely could give a flip about what we have to say. The double standard is amazing. You didn't even bother to deal with Blue, who was addressing somebody who was falsely accused, and you don't say a doggone thing about it. It just blows me away. So yes, you do need to address it. What Jeff said is true. This is an extension of the Prop 400 and Maricopa County's legal responsibility to create the ballot initiative after getting it passed at the state level. The new name for the prop is Prop 479, just a little switcheroo there. It blows me away. Blows me away.
Okay, thank you for joining us. So that is items 47 through 52. The board will now, unless there's any other questions, the board will now consider items 47 through 52.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve items 47 through 52.
Okay, thank you. I heard an original motion, but Supervisor Sellers.
I'll second the motion with a comment.
Okay, you have a second? Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that the plan that was sent to the state from the Maricopa Association of Governments was unanimously approved by every mayor, every Indian community, and the Board of Supervisors over a 4-year period of developing the plan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jack. Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Supervisor Guido. I heard aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right. Under Finance, 53, Funds, Transfers, and Warrants. 54, accept tribal gaming funds from Salt River Pima, Maricopa Indian Community. 55, Budget Appropriation Adjustment. Under Human Resources, 56, amend premium pay rates and approve a medical examiner retention incentive. 57, Maricopa County Employee Merit Resolution and Rules Revisions. 58, Maricopa County Performance Management Policy Revision. 59, Market Ranges. The board will now consider items 53 through 59.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move items 53 through 59. I want to make a quick comment about 54.
Okay, great. Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill. I have a motion and a second. Supervisor Galvin.
Mr. Chairman, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community is in District 2. They are doing a wonderful things here with distributing tribal gaming funds. I just want to highlight a few very worthy organizations that are recipients, including the Starry Foundation of North Scottsdale, which helps kids with autism, Copa Health in Mesa, which is just a wonderful private nonprofit corporation dedicated to changing lives with developmental, intellectual, or behavioral challenges, Paz de Cristo in Mesa, which is helping people who struggle with poverty, the Arizona Heroes to Hometowns Foundation in Mesa, which is helping wounded military veterans, and Opportunity for Kids in Scottsdale, which is raising funds to provide necessary fees and equipment and uniforms for kids. And just the staggering list of these organizations receiving funds from the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community is fantastic. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tom. All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, under Human Services, 60, admin change to recognize business name change. 61, accept grant funds from Arizona Governor's Office. Under Parks and Recreation, 62, termination of commercial management concessions agreement with C2C Scuba. 63 is an application for Vulture Mountain Regional Park and Vulture Mountains Recreation Area trade names and trademarks. And 64, amend to the Maricopa County Parks Recreation Advisory Commission bylaws. The board will now...
Chairman, I do have two speaker forms for item number 61 from Leslie Shepard and Jeff Caldwell.
Okay. Mr. Caldwell.
Chair, Supervisors. Chair, you said that this was from the Parks and Rec Department. I see that it's from the Governor's Office for Youth, Faith, and Family Discretionary Fund for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, and it's a pilot program. So they actually specifically list you, Mr. Hickman, as being congratulatory for receiving this grant. But what I have concerns with is it is for systematic inequality, and that is what was provided to the state and back to you. And so I am wondering what you think systematic inequality, or not inequality, inequity, sorry, systematic inequity. What do you think systematic inequity is? Because when I Google it, it looks, a lot of results from the Google showed that it's systemic racism that this is based off of. And so the Supreme Court ruled that we can't have DEI policies. And so if we move forward with this, I fear that it's unconstitutional because it targets a specific demographic of people. And so I'm very concerned with the language that this policy will enact in Maricopa County, and I don't want you to be out of line legally. And I'm very concerned with the term systematic inequity. And so I'm just curious what that means. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Shepherd.
Obviously, I have the same concerns, the DEI policies that are unconstitutional. I would say, oh, I want to caution you because, I wouldn't want you to break the law. But then I'm thinking, what am I doing? Who am I talking to? I'm talking to people that break the law all the time. You do it the minute we walk in the door. I would like to be able to ask you a question. I guess there's no point in which this entire meeting that questions get answered. I mean, when we heard our little speech from Lady Lawyer over there, she likes to go into the fact that certain parts of the meeting, there can be nothing said unless there's a criticism. So I don't know if I should try and criticize you and just provoke you into saying something, because you can't even answer a basic question. You don't care about the Constitution. You don't care about the law. You don't care about statute. You don't care about anything other than having your little position and acting as if you're something that is more than who you are. You're a public servant, and you're supposed to serve the public, not practically rape us, which is what's happening. So I would ask the question, and I'll have you sit there and stare at me. Can you please explain to the public what systematic inequity is? Big words. You're doing big things based on these big words, but you're not explaining anything other than using big words. Do you believe that we live in a society that is built on the foundation of racism? I would recommend that you read the biblical print. Trying to think what it's called. It tells us about how the Constitution got here, because obviously we've got a bunch of history that doesn't align. Do you believe that the system and the systems currently operate today are racist?
Thank you. Okay, we have items 60 through 64. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve items 60 through 64 with a comment.
Okay. And a second from Supervisor Gallardo. Supervisor Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, for the record, there was a question asked of you, and our executive director, who is over elections, addressed that question because it's an important question to be asked. So clarity has been provided. I find it rich to be lectured about how this board doesn't follow the law. This is a board, and my colleagues here who have put their political careers at peril because we follow the law. And finally, this item that we're addressing is workforce development. There are few issues more important in this community than workforce development. We meet with members of the business community who are focused on creating jobs in this community and improving the lives of people who live in this community. And this is the #1 issue that's raised. That's why I will be voting in support of this item. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Bill, I appreciate that. And I know I have a second. Ms. County Manager, would you like to let us know your thoughts on item number 61, I believe?
Chairman, members of the board, the term has been in use for decades, and it means barriers to employment. And in the agenda item, it specifically talks about the populations that are going to be targeted, which are youth, dislocated workers, and veterans. Thank you.
Veterans, okay. So with that, I appreciate the clarification, and Bill, I appreciate that. So we do have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under Procurement, 65, Security Building Parking Garage. 66, Clerk of the Superior Court Southeast Remodel. 67, CAD Mobile Systems Support and Maintenance. Public Defense Services, 68, Budget Adjustment. The board will now consider items 65 through 68.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve items 65 through 68.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Bill. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Public Health, 69 through 70, amend contract and agreements with Valley-Wise Health, Nurse Family Partnership National. 71, appointments to the Ryan White Planning Council. 72, grant funds from Arizona Department of Homeland Security. 73, accept and use of gift cards. 74, competition and practical expenditure to MEDA. 75, contracts for the purchase of services related to overdose data. 76, notice of award with Health Resources and Services Administration. Under Transportation, item number 77, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider items 69 through 77.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items 69 through 77.
Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Setting of Hearings, Planning and Development, 78, Planning and Zoning Setting of Hearing. The board will now consider item 78.
Move approval.
Thank you, Bill. Do I have a second?
Second.
And I have a second from Tom. A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Consent Agenda, 79 through 83, cancellation of election and approval of appointments. 84, treasurers, I think it should be, collections and disbursement summary. 85 through 86, duplicate, stale dated warrants, and 87 minutes. The board will now consider items 79 through 87.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, both of you. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Board of Supervisors Addendum, County Attorney, 88, settlement of 7148 West Country Gables. The board will now...
Chairman, excuse me. I have one speaker form for item number 88 from Benjamin Tate.
Okay.
He would like to speak in favor only if necessary.
Okay. Let's see if that's necessary. I'm looking for a motion and a second for item number 78.
88.
Oh, sorry, 88.
So moved.
Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, I'm going to have to give it to Bill. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries, and thank you for joining us today. We will recess as the Board of Supervisors and convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Under Flood Control District, 89 is minutes. Number 90 is a reappointment to the Flood Control Advisory Board. Number 91 to 93 is on-call construction management and inspection services contracts. Number 94, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents.
Chairman. I have a speaker form from Leslie Shepard for item number 94.
Okay, item number 94. You want to speak to easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. Number 94, Ms. Shepard. Okay, thank you. All right.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move for approval items 89 through 94, but I'd like to make a comment about number 90, please.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Bill. I have a motion, a second. Supervisor Galvin.
Mr. Chairman, this is regarding the reappointment to the Flood Control Advisory Board, and we are reappointing from District 2 Daniel Worth, who's been serving. I appreciate Mr. Worth's willingness to continue to serve on the Flood Control Advisory Board. Mr. Worth has an impressive resume, excellent attendance. His contributions to discussion agendas have been incredibly valuable. Mr. Worth currently holds the role of chairman of the board, where he continues to lead the meetings and discussions, and we had a very good discussion the other day where I informed him I will be pleased and honored to reappoint him.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Great, thank you, Supervisor Galvin. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Did I just do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You threw me, Gallardo. So, any opposed? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. We will now adjourn as the Flood Control Board of Directors and convene as the Stadium District Board of Directors. Under Stadium District, number 95 is an amended agreement with the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority. The board will now consider item number 95.
So moved.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And thank you, Steve, as being the secretary of the Stadium District. We will now adjourn as the Stadium District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. Under the Board of Supervisors, item 96 is the public comment period. Madam Clerk, do you have anything to report regarding public comment email responses?
Chairman, Supervisors, we did receive several emails via email on different agenda items, and all of those comments have been shared with all of the board offices. And I do have 9 speaker forms for public comment.
Okay, if I could have the speaker forms. And with those, very good. I will roll these through as we've got them in order. So, Blue Crawley.
Thanks for letting me go first, because I'm on my way over to the management meeting. Well, we don't have our manager going. I understand that because of its relevance. But one of the things on there is their taking of the document that they produced at their little soiree. They called it a retreat. And it was supposed to be aggressively assessing the situation there, and it was to do a strategic framework for the next 5 years. And what they did is come up with that they wanted to double the amount of Allied Burton on the rail. They did nothing about a strategic plan because, as you guys know, that with the Prop 400 monies, they stopped going to rail at all in 2025, so there is nothing that the RPTA Valley Metro Rail should be as a unified agency, because with all this time and the 20 years that the plan has gone together, I'm still amazed that we don't have the infrastructure out there, but we do have all the rail things. So I would appreciate and encourage a bifurcation of the agencies so that the monies that are going to be going to rail go to rail, and the monies that are going to bus, dial-a-ride, and all the other assets is used and put together a plan to do something about that, because unless you guys do an aggressive plan showing where you're going to be putting the bus routes and making sure that the county is a part of those areas, I'll be going against it. Have a good one. I got a
Thank you,
message
Blue.
to your chief, Mr. Gates.
Thank you, Blue. Mr. Ray Michaels. And followed by Patricia Stetson.
Thank you so much, Chair and board members. Just want to play this for you here real quick.
Number two, I'd just like to say thank you for pointing out on the PC issue, and thank you for joining us today. It was important to this board to create a process transparently and open to show that we were being able to see appointees come to this board and be able to appoint them. There was a number of people that came over the last series of weeks that thought that this was some sort of chance for our board to blockade PCs. That didn't, as you can see, that didn't happen today, and we got a unanimous vote on the people that have gone through the process, and we expect more to come, and quickly. We know that you have, all the parties have important meetings that will be going on in January, and there are elections coming up, so we appreciate that, but they are now going through a process identified in the positive by all three chairmen of the parties. So I want you to know that.
All right, so that's what happened at the last meeting, and so we need to be able to trust you. And what it said was that you actually did appoint them, but there was a mix-up from the back end. But for us, as we the people, if you say something, we're gonna trust that. I just want to point out in Arizona Revised Statutes, as you know, it says that the Board of Supervisors shall appoint from a list given from the county chairman. Arizona Revised Statute 16821B neither grants authority, oversight, or operational power over Maricopa County Board of over any private political organization, nor does it support the ability to create rules, procedures, or actions that would require any compliance of any such factors to that private political organization. Yet, you've done so, and I've asked about it, and we've had a cease and desist. Where do we go to find out the results of that?
Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Stetson. And Mr. Caldwell can follow Ms. Stetson. Welcome.
Honorable board members, the name is Stetson, like the hat. I've been a PC since the Tea Party times. I got very, very motivated and walked my community and met my neighbors. I attended the meeting on September 27th, and on the 28th, I read in the Arizona Republic that the supervisors are mandated by statute to appoint precinct committeemen. And then I asked myself, well, what am I doing? Walking my neighborhood and greeting my neighbors, encouraging them to become active in the political process. So Mr. Ray Michaels just said something about the word shall, and I've been mulling this over now for about a month. You shall, when the paperwork arrives to your desk, move forward and appoint those precinct committeemen, or you shall, at some point, you are mandated to do that, and I figured, then why am I walking my community to try to get people interested and hooked up to the political process? So I'm just asking for clarification, sir. Are you going to say that my walking my precincts during a year, that appointments only are accepted? Or are you just going to allow us to put the paperwork on your desk and you will stamp it as approved because it's gone through all the processes? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Caldwell, followed by Ms. Laura Weaver.
Oh. Chair, supervisors, I sent an email a couple weeks ago because I was unable to attend that meeting. However, in that email, I included a picture of a ballot that was sent to a felon, and he is on parole. So he's not even gone through the entire process yet. He still should be recognized as a felon. And he's received multiple ballots over the course of the last few years at the same address. And the reason why I know this is because I door knocked at their house looking for him because he was on the voter rolls. And his sister-in-law came chasing after me, and she's like, "How did you get his information?" And I was like, "Well, I was looking for him, not you." And he's staunch conservative, supposedly. So we have an issue. And we've approved, through you, to send millions of dollars to the recorder's office, $5 million at least, to clean up the voter rolls starting October 1st. So this person received this ballot after they received the money to start cleaning up the voter rolls. This is documented throughout the previous meetings here. It's happened since the middle of spring. So the recorder can say that there are legal limitations on removing voters. However, removing felons from the voter rolls is legally permissible. This should actually be the first group of folks that are removed from the voter rolls, and there's no reason that these should be receiving a ballot. But on top of that, that's where we get into the weeds, is there's been multiple posts on social media of people receiving multiple ballots in the mail for people who don't even live in the house. So, that's where the recorder may have some leeway, but I am very concerned that our voter rolls are not being cleaned up after we have approved to give at least $5 million extra to the recorder.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. Miss Laura Weaver, followed by Miss Barbara Ratty.
Chairman and Supervisors, for the public record. This is the most recent filing that you, Chairman Hickman, received but have yet to respond to. Take judicial notice of all herein. Now comes affiants, plaintiffs, each individually as one of the people, as seen in the Arizona Constitution. Daniel Clayton Wood, Joseph Michael Grimm, Deborah Ann Boehm, and Brian Edward Steiner, herein sui juris. Plaintiffs here now move this judicial court of record in this matter filed and accepted under original writ as a constitutional question. Plaintiffs hereon do set this matter in this constitutional judicial court of record, evoking their inherent God-given rights to secure their constitutional jurisdiction as seen in the original writ filed in this judicial court of record. This court now and hereafter shall only observe and apply constitutional law, common law, as the original jurisdiction for this matter. Plaintiffs set this judicial court of record back to its original jurisdiction and furthermore demand the usage of all legalese, legislature, and rules be prohibited in this matter. Plaintiffs object to appearance, defendants of counsel who failed to provide lawful notification through motion to the court in violation of Rule 5.3. Plaintiffs have repeatedly served the legislative councils of both the House and the Senate with notices and affidavits. Each time the councils received and signed for the notices and affidavits as representative counsel for the defendants. The same longstanding counsel has been in place and has signed for all services of notices, affidavits, and now writs since 2021. Plaintiffs state that the defendants had representative counsel for the full duration of the 20 days under Rule 12, affording the defendants adequate time to respond. To the plaintiff's original writ, the court of record shall take notice that defendant's counsel has attempted to deceive the court.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you joining us today. Miss Ratty, followed by Nancy Wilming. Miss Ratty, welcome.
Yeah. Can you bring it down just a little? Okay, that's good. Chairman and board, I'm continuing with the same writ. Plaintiffs recognize the current practices by current and past official government servants, trustees, agents, agencies, including any registered or unregistered corporations, have been functioning as adversaries to the Arizona Constitution and its creator, the people of Arizona. Plaintiff demands this court shall take judicial notice of the blatant interference and usurpation of constitutional authorities and powers granted only to the executive, judicial, and legislative branches separately by the people, and those authorities and powers not granted to State Bar of Arizona is being usurped knowingly by the corporate entity named State Bar of Arizona, registration license number 02012292, and its members registered with the Arizona Corporation Commission. This entity is absent of any charter or law in order to operate or function in our constitutional republic, which is ordained and established under God. Plaintiffs do show this judicial court of record in and on the record. The State Bar of Arizona is, as of January 11, 1987, a corporation by its registration by definition after being terminated on July 1st, 1986 by an act of legislation. The original legislative name, the State Bar of Arizona, terminated and is now unlawfully operating under the deceptive name, style, State Bar of Arizona, holding license registration number 02122292. This is in direct violation of the Arizona Constitution and the Arizona Corporation Commission regulation of registered names. The Arizona Supreme Court on July 1st, 1986 is also due to an act of their own direct violation of the Arizona Constitution, Article 14, Section 2. Claim to absorb the State Bar of Arizona that legislative terminated in that act alone by the Arizona Supreme Court is unconstitutional.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming up. Miss Leslie Shepard. Miss Leslie Shepard. Miss Leslie Shepard and Miss Nola. So Miss Leslie Shepard. I said I would grab these in order. Please step up. Then you don't want to speak? Go ahead. Leslie Shepard.
So the nutshell version of what you're getting out of the order of is that you guys, it says the court of record shall take notice that the defendant's counsel has attempted to deceive the court by stating that they were retained only 10 days within the required time to respond to the plaintiff. Original writ. The defendants have already retained counsel from the date of the original writ filing this court of record. This court shall find the defendants did deceive the court, and any prior current orders shall reversed and declared null and void. Basically, the nutshell version, you did not come up with your oath. Matter of fact, all of you, because it was sent to you to give to those above you and below you. Not one of you provided your oath of office. Not one. So when people want to sit here and go, oh, we need to honor you for what? You can't even answer a question, let alone show that you have an oath. I really appreciate the fact that you make such a small thing like drinking a glass of water.
If you're just going to break the rules, I will let you know.
What's the rules? That we can't have drinks in here as you're sitting there drinking your bottle of water? As I saw the guy walking around with his coffee, as I see the mug up the aisle, which rule? The one that you made up? Your rule is garbage. It's null and void. The Constitution lets me know that this bottle of water is my property, and you're not allowed to take it. You haven't taken your oath. You haven't even provided an oath. You sit there with your smug little look. You and little Bill Gates, you guys sit there and talk about how you follow the rules, how you're all this and that. You're nothing. Matter of fact, the mayors that Jack mentioned signed off on that thing earlier. The mayors are bought and paid for. The military is paying attention. You are so funny. You look like you're on the toilet right now. I'm just letting you guys know your time is short. Your arrogance is known, and your oaths are obviously you did not take them.
And cut. Great. Okay. Go ahead and sit down, and I do note that you've decided to break the rules.
I decided to drink of water, bring in my own personal property, and act like I'm equal to you and the other county workers.
Miss Nola, it was nice knowing you. Miss Nola, please step up to the podium. Is it? Oh, you're not Miss Nola?
You called her first, but then skipped her.
I called.
You called Nancy Willing, and then she didn't get to speak.
What's that?
He called everybody out of order. You unstapled them. You did it on purpose.
Cassie Nola.
Did you have
Okay.
a Nancy Wilming that was supposed to speak?
Oh, Miss Wilming?
She's
Oh, Ms. Whelming, I'm sorry. Because I had you queue up. I'm sorry, Ms. Whelming. I guess I missed you. So thank you. Welcome.
Okay, continuing with the writ. Arizona Constitution, Article 14, Section 4, restriction to business authorized by charter or law. 4, restriction to business authorized by charter or law, page 4, Section 4. No corporation shall engage in any business other than that expressly authorized in its charter or by the law under which it may have been or may thereafter be organized. Article 14, Section 2, formation under general laws, change of laws, Regulation 2, formation under general laws, change of laws, Regulation Section 2. Corporations may be formed under general laws, but shall not be created by special acts. Laws relating to corporations may be altered, amended, or repealed at any time, and all corporations doing business in this state may, as to such business, be regulated, limited, and restrained by law. Plaintiffs states that defendants allegedly filed and served an answer or otherwise pleading to plaintiff's original writ. Defendants' counsel states they could not file a brief by required time stated in Rule 12. Defendants and its counsel failed to respond or act under Court Rule 12, which is binding under the defendants and its counsel by its voluntary act to be associated through registration, election, appointment, or contract agreement to any of the state or federal political subdivisions. Defendants are bound by the Arizona and United States Constitution and its framing of government. This judicial court of record found herein stated by the writ of prohibition, which is in form of a sworn affidavit, is the plaintiff's response that shall move this court hereafter in the common law jurisdiction as delineated in plaintiff's original writ as filed.
Thank you, Ms. Whelming. I am sorry that I skipped past you, even though I had you queue up. Sorry about that. Ms. Nola, if you could please join us today. Thank you for joining us.
Plaintiff due to the individual constitutional right which is in question. Defendants, this court, its officers of the court continue impinging the plaintiff's constitutionally expressed power and without consent. Defendants in this court are unlawfully moving the court by administrative acts, rules, and procedures, and unlawfully attempting to set this court to an unconstitutional, non-judicial proceeding, legislative or executive, absent any judicial justice. These actions are not in compliance with the mandatory provisions seen in the Arizona Constitution. There is irrefutable evidence that the plaintiff's constitutional inherent rights are being trespassed. Plaintiffs point this court to judicial notice and demand this court and defendants to read and adhere to the settled law by the Arizona Supreme Court stated in plaintiff's original writ found in the case of Miranda versus Arizona, page 491. Plaintiffs show that we are not to be held to any form of rulemaking or legislation. Plaintiffs reinforce this whole matter, which is based on a violation of the Arizona Constitution, causing plaintiffs to be disenfranchised and irreparably harmed individually. Plaintiffs without consent are being exposed to legalese language which is unconstitutional. As seen in the Arizona Constitution, Article 28, Section 2, English is the official language in Arizona for all official matters. The practice of this court, its clerk, judges, and all State Bar of Arizona members or any council is in direct violation of Article 28 of the Arizona Constitution, thus placing an unconstitutional handicap upon the plaintiffs and knowingly cause irreparable harm and is in a miscarriage of justice. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Okay, that's it for the speaker slips.
That's it, Chairman.
Great, thank you. Okay, we will now move on then to the item number 97, which is the supervisor's summary of current events. And I'm going to go ahead and go to Supervisor. I'll go on the Zoom call first. Supervisor Gallardo, hope you're feeling better.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'm on the uphill here now. I still don't have my voice, but nonetheless, I'm feeling much better. Mr. Chairman, exciting, definitely an exciting week for all of Arizona, but particularly for District 5. We have 2 championship series in District 5. One, of course, as we know, our beloved Arizona Diamondbacks are in the World Series. But also this weekend, we have the NASCAR Series Championship out in the West Valley as well. This is a huge race. We have folks from all over the country coming into Arizona and visiting many of our hotels and bars and restaurants, and they're here to cheer on their favorite racer and driver in this championship series. The economic impact this race alone has not only here in the West Valley, part of your district too, Mr. Chairman, but for the entire state is just huge. And so I want to welcome all our NASCAR fans, and also a big shout out to our Arizona Diamondbacks. They're in a fight. On Friday, I received an email, let me make sure I get it correctly, from Terrence County Commissioner Elias Simons has reached out. I believe, I'm not familiar too much with the county, but I believe it's out there around the Dallas, Arlington area. She issued a friendly challenge that I've accepted. I have not pulled out. I have not given up on our D-backs. We're going to have a comeback. Tonight is going to be another exciting game. I accepted the Commissioner Simon's challenge that our D-backs will win. And when our D-backs do win, she will kindly wear our D-back jersey and present Maricopa County with a nice gift basket from Terrence County. So go on, D-backs. Let's do it tonight. Let's do it this week, and let's finish it up in Dallas. And let's have a nice championship weekend, not only with the Diamondbacks, with NASCAR. So, Mr. Chairman, exciting times, not only in District 5, but of course, the entire state with the 2 championship series coming this week.
Great. Thank you, Supervisor Gallardo, and good luck. Well, they need 3 straight. Supervisor Sellers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be very brief. I a lot going on, but I did have COVID all last week, and recovery has been slower than I anticipated. So, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad to see you're feeling better, Jack, and thanks for joining today's meeting. Supervisor Gates. Oh, wait a second. I skipped our county manager. I am so sorry. Jen, I just went right into it because I could see these guys right in front of me. So, County Manager Pokorski.
Nothing today, Chairman.
Oh.
I had something.
Yeah, I know you did. Now I feel bad. Supervisor Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Wish both of our colleagues on GoToWebinar quick recovery, and would echo the comments of Supervisor Gallardo as far as the Diamondbacks are concerned. We're very proud of their success, proud that they're back in the World Series, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing a banner to hang from our building here at 3rd Avenue and Jefferson, showing our support, everyone here at the county, our support for the Diamondbacks. So go D-backs. We're also in the middle of an election, as I think was mentioned by some of the speakers. And again, if people are having any issues at all with elections, please reach out to us here, reach out to the recorder's office. I'll be happy to look into those issues for you. But if you haven't dropped your ballot in the mail yet, it's too late, so don't drop it off in the mail. Instead, encourage that you go to locations.maricopa.vote for either Dropbox locations around the county or in-person locations where you can drop off that ballot. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Bill. Supervisor Galvin.
Chairman, thank you. First of all, I hope our colleagues get better as soon as possible. Secondly, I've been traveling around District 2. Really great events last week in Scottsdale and Fountain Hills, talking about everything we're doing at the county, providing a county update. Really happy to see that people stay awake through these presentations, and people ask really great questions. And then 2 Saturdays ago, I was up in Carefree for an event for people who are trying to get open space to be dedicated to a park. carefree Mayor John Crane, a great friend of District 2, a great friend of the county, who actually also serves in the County Parks Board, was there. But I really want to specifically highlight our Parks Director, R.J. Carden, who took time on a Saturday to join me at this event, and I really appreciate him being there. And I just want to have a trivia question for everyone. What do the 1968 Detroit Tigers, 1979 Pittsburgh Pirates, 1985 Kansas City Royals, and 2016 Chicago Cubs all have in common? What's that, Mr. Gates?
They all came back from a 3-1 deficit to win the
Exactly, and
World
the Diamondbacks
Series.
are going to do the same exact thing. Thank you.
So I guess the Diamondbacks are the theme right now. I just want to thank our Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. The Chase Field, we hang the banner because Chase Field is a county facility. It was built by the Maricopa County taxpayer years and years ago, and ever since, the County Sheriff's Department is tasked with the protection of the people that are there, the players, everything. So I just want to let everyone know how proud I am when I get to see the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office there protecting it. These are heightened times. These are times that call for extra security when you have so many people put together in a room, in a stadium. So what I would like to talk about with the Diamondbacks, though, specifically, is you, Supervisor Gallardo, you said you had a bet with one of your colleagues in Tarrant County. So we were able to reach out to what they are judges, not supervisors, not commissioners, but they're judges, and we reached out to the Tarrant County. As chairman, I got to reach out to the head judge, Judge O'Hare, who then told me he's going to be in attendance at tonight's game. And my bet with that group was we are going to make a food bank donation. If they win, they make a food bank donation to St. Mary's. I'm sorry, however it works, or we will make a food bank donation to Tarrant County. And I've already covered both sides of that. I reached out to my friends in Texas and said, hey, regardless, I'm making some pallet of eggs deliveries to, as we do as a company during the holidays. So they said, hey, Clint, we're in on it too. So regardless, win, lose, or draw, the food banks are going to get some food to help their own respective communities, and I look forward to that. But don't tell him, because they can always add on. So with that, I appreciate it very much. I appreciate my colleagues being here and joining me today, being in sickness and in health. You guys continue to do your job the best way possible. And with that, we are adjourned. Yep.
Good meeting, Mr. Chair.
Where's